Let's say genetics. Genetics is a kind of big topic that's used to scare people. Actually, I even asked ChatGPT that what is the hardest part in Java. It told me that it is genetics. But it's not supposed to be hard if you see someone that will explain it to you clearly. So in this part, I will actually explain this clearly so that you can understand it well. So let me start. What is genetic? Genetic is a type of class that can take in parameter and use it to perform some task that they want to use it for. Let us call it, let us not call it genetics, let us call it a type of class that can take in parameter. Just like method, some method can take in parameter. This is also parameter. So, so have it in mind is genetics. The name genetics is a type of class that can take in parameter. I use it. So how can we create a class that can take in parameter, which is used to call genetics? This is why I create this wordness. This wordness file, I'm going to create a class inside, and we're going to perform the genetics class inside. So let us create public class wordness. Right now we have already created our normal class that we used to create. In that class, you all know that there is one thing they call constructor. It's not compulsory if you don't want to use it in a class. But what if you want to use it? What constructor you used to do is a type of initializer that is going to be called anytime we call our class. So any class that have a constructor, if you call the class, what we first execute in that class, what we first call in that class is the constructor. As we all know, you should have the knowledge of constructor before going for genetics. And if you don't have, there's nothing big in there. I've already do some videos about that too. So constructor is by just writing the same name of this class, writing it and create it as a method. Then anything you pass in here will be executed anytime they call the class first before it will execute others. That is work of constructor. Right now we are talking about genetics. What makes genetics and constructor relate? So right now this class is not a genetic class because it have no parameter. So for you to turn it to genetic class, what we have to do is to give it parameter. So it also taking parameter like normal method, but the way of taking the parameter is not like with parentheses, it is with tag, which is going to be this. Then inside the tag, you will tell the class the type of data that is going to be taken anytime we pass the data. So we are going to tell it is string we want to take in right now. We are not taking integer, it is string we want to take in. So now we create instantiate of the wordness inside there. Right now, like this our class is an genetic class. So we want to instantiate it first. We will say wordness newness, the instantiate name equal to new wordness. Then we pass through wordness. Let's say it. That's wordness. Wordness. That's it. Then right now, we see that we have already passed through the argument here. And when we want to pass through the argument, you should have been seeing something like hash map, array list, linked list. If you want to instantiate them, what you have to do is in front of something like that. Let me show you the array one, like the array, let's say the hash map. So the way the hash map works is this. You pass through the type as you have worked with hash map or something like that. Pass through the type, you pass through the hash map stuff, the hash map variable that's going to be taking the object, then you say new hash map, then you will still passing the type again. The rule that they follow is genetic. So we are going to follow the rule too here. Nothing different. Don't be confused, nothing different. So we say string, then we pass it here to string. Right now, we've already instantiate our genetic class successfully. It is also like the linked list and others. They also create it like this. So anytime you want to instantiate it, what you write here, the type that you want to pass to the class as argument will be put in front of the class here and will be put in front of it here too before we now write this. Now right now we have passed our argument. We want to now use it in our class. So how can we use it in our class? Then that is when this constructor comes to use. When we pass the data to the class cannot give it to the class methods or the class stuffs like that. They can't just use it in the class like that. We have to give it to one person that can handle it, which is constructor. So the constructor will take it, now give it to one person that can pass through to everybody in the class, which is what? Which is field. We all know field can be called in or placed in class. So I will say I will create a field. What's this? Create a field. I will call it I can take it. I've already created a field there. So anytime they now pass value to the class here, the constructor is the first person to call. So the constructor will now be called. So in this constructor, we create a parameter. We create a parameter, which is going to be what? Which is going to be any name we want. But let me call it class parameter so that you understand it very clear. Now, once they put the data, once they send the data to the argument of the class, then the data is going to call the what? The constructor. The constructor is going to take in the parameter from the argument here and say, okay, who is the next that I can give this to that can share to everybody in the class, which is now called this field, which is variable in class. So, and you know, if you want to call field in class, we use this keyword, this dot, can take it in. We will now assign it to the value that they pass to this constructor. Because anytime they send data to class, it's going to send it to what? To constructor. And constructor is going to send it to field. So now you now say class parameter. You see now, the class was called here and passing through a data, which is string. So and as the class was called and passed through the string, the class called what? Called this constructor, and constructor taking the data and give it to what? The field. So right now we can now use our data anywhere in the class. Now we have successfully created a generic class in Java. Nothing more than that. Let me test it and I show you. Let us print it out. System dot out dot print. Let's just call it this dot. I can take it. Now let us run it. It's still loading. It. See, that is how they create genetic in Java. Let me come again. You create your class, you create this tag and put in the type of data that you want to be passing through the class. Then you create constructor, which is the same name as the class. Then you pass in any parameter that you want. But it's better to pass in something that you can read well. Because anytime they call the class, they are going to give this constructor the value. And this constructor is going to call this field that have the ability to serve all other class the value and assign the value that this class give to this constructor. Then anytime you want to use the data, you call the field that the data was assigned to. So that is all about genetic. I know it is a bit confusing when you start, but actually right now you should have understand it. So let me use it in real world as a sample for you. Let's say I create this SWOT nest. Let me say I want to create an application, a simple program that can tell me what I need to do next and the type of the thing I need to do next. Let's say for example, I create a class, I want to create a class that will tell me, okay, if I say I want to eat, so I call the witness and I pass in eat. Then I tell him that the kind of food I want to eat is what is right. It's going to print out for me that okay, now the next thing for you to do is to eat. Then the type of food you want to eat is what is rice. What if you want to do something like that and we want to use genetic? You can just do it like this and create a function inside there. You create a method. You can call it static void type of next to do. Then what? You say system dot out dot print. You all know that to create a parameter in method it's just normal declare the parameter, then say type any name that you want to give. So I will now say what next for you to do is to, you all notice add plus to add variable to string type and the type of of what to of what to oh, of this type. We are not using type here. We are collecting this string that we want to pass because we want to first know what is the next thing to do. So we say this dot, I can take it, which is the one that taking this stuff. Then we now say after we call this one and the type of what to do is of what to this, you see what I'm writing, this dot I take it is what, then I'll say type. That's all. string type, this, this, this. Okay. See, what next for you to do is to what if they pass through it, it's going to collect the heat is to it, and the type of what to if they pass through it is going to put it is to it is what if it is right is rice. You see? So this is what it's going to do here. So let me remove that. Right, let me set this to public so that everybody can use it. So string yesterday. Now let me call this. See, after we have passed through it is it that we want to hit. Then we say new next dot type. Or is it not type? Dot type of next field of let me copy so that I avoid mistake. Type of next field is called to pass a parameter rise. This is a simple example for it. Then we say static field. Oh, let me not use that. Let me use public because I don't want it to be confusing. Now, let us run our application. See, good. Now, what next for you to do is to hit, and the type of what to hit is what is right. So that's all. That's all. You create a class which is generic is what is by creating a class that have parameter. So that is generic for you. It is nothing more than that. Don't let the word too big and be confusing you. That is all generative for you. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment the error or what I need to add or what I need to remove. That will actually help me a lot. Thank you. Bye bye.